Hi guys, welcome to Fierce and Pretty. Honey here. Today I wanted to show you the Shimmering Veil Tarot. I know we have a bunch of great walkthroughs of this deck already. I can link some of them down below. But still I wanted to make my own video about this deck because of the emotional response that I got from the deck. The version that I have is the second version, and this is by Cilla Conway. And my ordering process wasn't so standard. I first ordered the deck, I was waiting for the second edition to come, and after I saw people starting to receive it, I emailed to Cilla and asked about the deck. And she said to me that she had mailed it already a few weeks ago. And then we decided to wait for a week still. And the deck just didn't arrive. And I sent her another email. And she immediately sent me another copy of the deck. So the whole customer service process with Cilla was amazing. So thank you. Thank you, Cilla, if you ever end up watching this video. But the customer service isn't the only good thing about the Shimmering Veil Tarot. It is all together an amazing package. And this second edition comes with this silver, rainbow, flashy, I don't know what you call this, edging. And it is gorgeous. The book, even though it's small, it's really nice. I haven't read it yet, but it has color images and it feels like it's jam-packed with information. So definitely one guidebook that I'm going to read from cover to cover. And it's beautiful. Even the quality is like the images. They pop out with this silver framing. But the way I wanted to do my walkthrough of this deck was just before reading the guidebook, before looking the images too much and getting too familiar with them, because I had to open this in my car immediately and flip just through the cards, and they all gave me emotional responses. So this deck is definitely something different than any of my other decks. This seems to be really emotional and more kind of, one of those intuitive decks. So I just wanted to flip through the cards quickly and tell you what I see, not thinking what are the card meanings and what these archetypes should be saying and telling to us based on what we know about the tarot, but just working with the colors and the images. So let's see, like my little psychoanalysis with the Shimmering Veil Tarot. Let's see how crazy I am after you've heard my responses. But the Fool card, it makes me think of the first morning sun or sunrise or the sunset. Those moments when you kind of feel that everything is possible and the beauty is just so amazing that it makes you want to cry, but at the same time you know that that moment will pass so quickly. It's kind of the quick moment that you're trying to grasp, but it kind of slips away. The Magician. This is really different, and it has some primal, shamanic feel to it, more than just the standard trickster magician. We have the night and the day. We have like fire and water and air. We have all the elements. And to me, this primal is the main word that it pops out of this. Something really shamanic. The high priestess, she's so veiled. She's even a bit scary. Seems like she's really holding on to something. She knows it, but it's like when you're trying to think of something, you know that you know the word, but it's just slipping away from your tongue. It's like that feeling that you're forgetting something that you should remember, but you can't, and you're unsure if you even ever really knew the thing that you're not remembering. It's kind of like a dream that slipped away. And the Empress, it's just pure motherly love. It's just warmth and summer and security. The Emperor, he's kind of really distant, like kind of the strict father that is always there, but you never really knew him. Kind of that type of figure. It's just like a mirage, like an idea rather than actual being. The Hierophant, just it's mesmerizing. Kind of can see so many things in it. But the first thing that comes to my mind with this picture is kind of prayer. Kind of look like he's holding his hands together. Not sure if he is. But this feel like, even though I'm not religious, but there are moments when I kind of feel so desperate that I think that I'm practically praying. And this has that feeling to me. The prayer in darkness. This reminds me of nature, like birds in love. The Chariot is really bright, and it's just like his parade is the word that comes to me from this. There would be people around him, like he's in a parade, and they are celebrating him. And the strength is more brutal than I'm used to. This is also the primal kind of strength. So, fighting for survival. This has that feel to me more than the calm peace, and there's the fight for survival comes to me. And the Hermit, my eyes are drawn to this tunnel rather than the castle. But I think journey is the word that this card brings to me. And the journey ain't short, and it ain't easy, and it's dark, but there's still the light. The Wheel. I love this image. I love astronomy. I love gazing the stars. I love thinking about the galaxies, and this kind of reminds me of the teeny tiny meaninglessness of our individual lives in this huge of cosmos. Even though we think that things are so big and meaningful, but in these type of scales, you could sometimes just relax and think that things aren't so serious. This justice feels a bit cold to me. It makes me think of the coldness of the rationality about the thing called justice. Really cold and airy. And this Hanged Man, this has more agony. This is like emotional torture when something so important to you feels so uncertain, and you feel so insecure and uncertain about the thing, and you just have to wait, and there's nothing you can do. It kind of talks to me about that pain, that moment when you're utterly helpless. And this death, it's glorious. It's just, I'm personally not even afraid of dying. There is this beauty about how our bodies are just flesh. And that the grand scale, the big scheme behind everything, this makes me think about it. What's really important. And the temperance, it's just peace. Peace is the first thing. And the first word that comes to me from this devil card is anger, resentment, bitterness. Those are the emotions that I'm getting out of this devil. This Tower card it's still really peaceful. Even though you see the ocean there's storm and there's all this hell breaking loose in the sky, but I feel there's still something peaceful in this image for me. I don't know why. I think renewal is so purifying. I mostly see the good coming after this. I think. The star, it makes me think night. The night skies when I'm looking the Milky Way, the vastness of the space. Kind of similar than the wheel card. This moon it's cold. It's winter. Something really wintry about this. Kind of like you're alone in the woods in the winter and it's cold and it's dark and you're lost. That's the feeling that I get out of this image. And the sun, but this sun makes me feel immediately too much heat. It's so bright. It kind of gives me it's so bright that you can't even look at it. And sometimes good things can feel like that. And the judgment, even though not religious person, but resurrection is the only thing that I can think. Going home, all that talk about us being souls, having a human experience in this body, makes me think about that and how the end is not an end in the universe. Invincible is the word. This makes me feel powerful, like nothing can defeat me. Like the moment when your power song is on and you're just dancing like a maniac and you just have the world by its balls and it's all yours. But in a strong way. It's really powerful. And actually this deck comes with an extra Fool. It's the last card, number 22, the Golden Fool. But I have taken it out so far from the deck. And then the Queen of Wands or Queen of Fire, we have an additional card. But those I have taken out. But let's jump into the minors. And this is the card. I did a deck interview for this deck immediately in my car when I got the deck, because I just felt urged to do that. And this is what the card at this deck identified as. The Ace of Fire, the Ace of Wands. And I totally agree. This is the inspiration, the spark. Immediately I knew that I understand what this deck is saying when it's saying that it is the Ace of Fire. And I agree. It's really inspiring. And the color themes in these suits, I can add a picture where I put the suits next to each other also, so you can see how they look. But the two of Fire, this is like there's a path, but you can see the path of the of the uncertainty of that kind of mist in it. And you don't even realize that you are on the path already. Just abundance. The abundant colors in this one. I feel like creativity, if I would be a painter, I think this is how inspiration would feel like. I rarely get inspired, at least to do anything artsy, but I do get inspired in different ways. But if I would be a painter, this would be how my inspiration would look like. This makes me think of the prayer, nighttime prayer, that we were taught as a kid, when the guardian angel was walking beside. No, it was actually a song. It was kind of a children's prayer type of song that my mom used to sing to me about this guardian angel. And this is what I think of immediately. The Five of Fire just makes me think of rage. This is how I feel inside sometimes. The internal rage when I want to shout, but I can't because it's uncivilized. This is what I feel sometimes, when I just want to scream. This is kind of like an internal aha moment that this makes me think. When you've been searching for something and you understand it. This is what I'm getting more out of this. An internal victory. This feels like something, you're trying to do something and the pressure of succeeding, the need to succeed in this. That's what I'm feeling in this one. You can't miss this one. You just have to. You have to nail it. This makes me think of northern lights and witches and dark nights. That's what I'm getting in here. Burning the bridges. And there's just hopelessness, not seeing your way out of it. Missing the perspective here. Just seeing what's in front of you. This image was the one that actually triggered my need to do this walkthrough. And this made me think about being in a relationship with a really depressed person. And I know depression is really hard for the person who's suffering about the depression. But the thing that doesn't get spoken so much is how hard that is also for the ones close to the person, and how sometimes their strength is, it's not enough to carry the two people. That's what I'm feeling in this picture a lot. Like the weight is drowning both of them, but the other one is still fighting, trying to keep them both above the, water, not drowning. This was really powerful image to me. Then the court cards go like pages, warriors, queens, and kings. This just doesn't give me much right now. I'm skipping through those that don't speak to me so much because this is going to be too long video anyway for anybody to check it out. This is the warrior, like the knight. And you see the fire energy. And he's just doing everything at the same time. And this is the Queen of Wands that I chose. I chose this one with the snake rather than the lightning one, and fierce. This is just fierceness in all its forms. Breast hanging out and she ain't caring. She's just letting her flamey hair fly, and even though there are volcanoes bursting and there's a snake, she's just a kick-ass lady. Super fierce. Amazing. And the King of Fires. I see like a pikefish there. It definitely isn't there, but I see it. A pikefish, something that is really common here in Finland. And this just makes me think of dark forests. He lives in the forest, I think. Comes out during the night. And this card I loved. It's the Ace of Cups, or the Ace of Water. And can you see? There's a big whale and a whale tail, and the lightness and the elegance. Think for a moment if you were a huge whale and you could just swirl in the sea like nothing. You would be light as feather. That tranquil emotion, the serenity of that. And this was also beautiful, the Two of Cups. It's just, I feel passion. Also here, maybe it's because I just came back from Lapland, but again, the northern lights, the magic of the skies is just, it's here. The wonders of nature is what I'm seeing here in this one. This was another image that, on top of the 10 of Wands or 10 of Fires, that kind of made me pause a long time. You know, the moments when you're so exhausted, you're so tired, but you can't sleep, your mind is whirling, and the emptiness at the same time as you have all the emotions, still you feel nothing and still you feel everything, and it kind of paralyzes you. That's the moment I'm getting out of this. When you're so wrapped around in your head that your body gets frozen. And here's a beautiful depiction of the Five of Cups, when you just see the darkness, when you don't realize the huge gaping light that's behind you if you just turned your back and looked further. This makes me think immediately of what I will feel when I'm old. I see myself as the old person there looking back. This makes me think of old age and the crumbling body. This is the emotion that I kind of know really well when you're so lost, emotionally so lost. This Nine of Cups is just depicting the freedom. I don't know. In Finland it's quite natural to be naked a lot in the sauna and the swimming, but this is just the glory of the body to me. Like a free happiness. And the 10 of Water, the 10 of Cups, is just a day when you have zero worries on your mind. There's no darkness in this image. And this Page of Cups, or Page of Waters, makes me think the same feelings as the Nine of Cups. Like she's swimming naked. That's what we do a lot here. Then we move to the Earth suit, and in the Ace we have this Ouroboros holding in all the potential, and if he would just slip the tail out of his mouth, all that would float free, but it's still kind of kept inside. And I love this Two of Earth. It's like a creature that lives in the forest, like a forest fairy or the spirit of the forest, just making the world turn around, holding the balance. And I love this Three of Earth, these rock cave paintings. It just makes me think of all the people who have lived on this earth before we came along, and how they survived with so much less, how different life was. The simplicity, the beauty of the simplicity. And this Four of Earth, look, it's like a city behind there, and the greediness of that figure. This just makes me think of what my father always says, that I don't know what you call those in English, those wrappings that they used to wrap the mummies in. And my father says that those things, they don't have pockets. And this is just a beautiful depiction of it. Because the black angel type figure, when he's coming, it's pointless. It's pointless to hold on to the material things, because you can't take them with you. For some reason, this card just makes me think of that when people kind of shine their own halo, you know, when they put themselves on a pedestal and they kind of see themselves being better or more important than the other ones. And this Seven of Earth, this is so much more enjoyable than the standard Rider-Waite-Smith depiction of, you know, impatiently waiting. Here, the figure, he's actually enjoying. This is the perfect depiction of the verb being. Not doing, but being. This Eight of Earth makes me just think of devotion and concentration. He looks like he's willing to share from all the good he has. Like selfishness. This is puzzling because I don't know which way the current is moving here. Are we going into the dark tunnel or bursting out? And that's the question I'm thinking in here. Here I can just simply think of grounding, being grounded in the earth, in the page of earth. Even though this is the warrior of earth, he's holding back. He's not aggressive. He's not, you know, pushing forward. He's just holding his ground. He's holding that spear for survival, not for conquering. And this is the card, the Queen of Earth, that came to me in the deck interview as how this deck sees me. And I think that this is very a fitting image to my current emotional state after spending 1 week in Lapland, being super grounded, being with the family and taking care of everybody. So I think it picked up my current vibes really nicely. And this king, he's holding all these crystals. He's providing the wonders of the Mother Earth. He's the keeper of them. He keeps them safe. And I love the suit of air, the swords, the coldness in these. This is so wintry image to me. And this Two of Swords, it's just so much more powerful with those lightnings and with the raging sky, or maybe it's a sea, or maybe both. It's just makes me think of the power that we have in all our choices. And I love that the Three of Swords is really different also. But even though through the pain, the heart is there and it's red, and the mind is also troubled with the red. But no matter how hard it hurts, the heart stays there. And this four of air is just tranquility, really zen. And it makes me think of the journey in the mind that I do when I meditate. In the stillness, how you still move. This is like the feeling when you go traveling or you get to go to somewhere even though there are hurdles and it might be cold on the sea, but the happiness and enjoyment of the journey. I love being on the road. I just see a ghost in here. And even though there's a chimney on top of that building, it makes me think of the Finnish outhouse in the winter. The fear of the dark and what lurks there. Those sometimes negative energies that are in old places. This is what I see and feel here. I also got this card in my first 3-card reading with this deck. And something in this image makes me really think of the Native Americans. But the way he's holding that string in his hand, he's binded himself there. You know, I feel myself doing this a lot. You know, metaphorically tying myself to my problems when they are all up in my head. And the stupidity of it all. The 9 of Swords. The desperation. When all you can see is darkness. And all you can see is chaos. And in the 10 of Swords, or the 10 of Air, the sheer exhaustion. When you're so tired, you don't even care anymore. So even though I'm not really buying any more decks, I still have one deck, one Kickstarter coming. But this was something that was missing from my collection. A bit more unstructured deck. More intuitive images. The art is gorgeous. And also the quality of this deck is amazing. And even though it's a bit of a chunky deck, thick, nice card quality, but I can still riffle it.